Hello there, Richard Shepherd here. I'm here with Kieran Toner.
Hi Richard.
Who's going to talk about an assisted sale that he's currently working on. Very exciting deal that he's got in progress right now. So Kieran, do you want to talk us about through this situation and where you actually find these sellers?
Yeah, this one came about through a leaflet drop I did. I actually put on my leaflet that I'll pay a referral fee to anyone who passes a deal on, and this leaflet was passed to a gentleman on the other side of town. It's a 3-bed semi-detached house. Gentleman's getting on in years, and he's been burdened with a horrible mortgage that somebody sold him. The house needed a bit of work. It had been on the market for 2 years, and the agent had been unable to sell it. But the mortgage that the gentleman's got, he actually borrowed £20,000 in 2004, I think, on a Mortgage Express roll-up mortgage. So he doesn't have to pay his mortgage, but his debt's going up by, I think, 7% every year. So I think he owed at the time around about £49,000. Initially, I made a cash offer, £52,000, which he bit my hand off. At the time, I didn't have any funds available, so I approached the deal to him as, that's great, I can buy it at that, but I feel bad because he'd effectively walked away with nothing. So I offered him an option at £55,000 and a share of 20% of the profits for anything I did above £60,000. So my plan was to go in, spend £5,000 to £6,000 refurbing the property, hopefully sell it for around about 90.
Okay.
Give him a share and take the profit myself.
Okay. And how did he react given that new offer?
He was pretty open to it, to be honest. Like I say, he's getting on, I'd probably say late 60s, 70 odds. He lived in the property with his wife. She died a few years ago. He's now living in sheltered accommodation the other side of town, so he's getting the bus across town 3 times a week, worried about it being empty, worried about people breaking into it, leaks. He's now paying council tax and bills, and he just wanted the hassle taken away from him.
So what have you got back on the market at?
That went on the market initially in November for 105. I dropped it to 99,950 in the new year, expecting to get offers of around 90 in the current market.
Okay.
That hasn't been the case. I've just dropped it to 89,950, or it's actually advertised as offers in excess of, just so it drops down a different price bracket in the Rightmove searches. And to be honest, at this point, I'd take an offer between 80 and 85.
Yeah, okay. So if you sold for about 85, I mean, what would your gain be?
I've got to give a percentage to the vendor, 15 to 20, depending on what we actually...
15 to 20 grand, but that's still not bad for a deal that you've
put no money in, yeah.
Had for a few months. Not bad.
Yeah.
All right, great.
Okay, now that's a lovely deal that Kieran's right in the middle of. So let's have another look at these figures so that we can break down exactly how much Kieran stands to make at the end of this deal. So, Kieran was talking about an elderly gentleman who's not being able to sell his properties through the usual route. So what he's done is the market value of this property was £110,000. The outstanding mortgage is £49,000. The mortgage payments are not really relevant to Kieran because the gentleman is still paying these particular mortgage payments. Now the purchase price of the house is £55,000. That's the option price that Kieran stands to actually buy the property at. He had an option term of 6 months to buy the property, and he also had the right to extend that option term for another 6 months. So the extension fee of being £1,000. Now the refurbishment cost Kieran £5,000. Basically, when he sells the property, he's hoping to get around about £85,000 for selling the property. He's got to pay £500 to somebody who's actually passed this deal on to Kieran. You remember Kieran saying that this deal came about through a referral. So Kieran was offering to pay a referral fee of £500. So the total profit in the deal, the total gross profit in the deal, is £24,500. Now that's after the refurbishment has actually been paid off. So the profit to the seller is the £55,000 minus the £49,000, which is the outstanding mortgage, plus whatever Kieran stands to give him. So remember Kieran talking about giving him 20% of anything that he stands to make over £55,000. So the seller will stand to make £10,990, and Kieran stands to make, within a few months of doing this deal with no mortgage, no credit check, no deposit, £19,960. Now that really is not a very bad deal, considering that Kieran hasn't had to go to the bank for any finance, he hasn't had to get a survey, etc., etc. He's been able to make this profit just by dealing or trading this particular deal. So when he stands to actually buy that, when he sells that property, he stands to make almost £20,000. That's a cracking deal for Kieran. So if you want to know more about these deals, just go to www.facebook.com/lease options, and we'll show you some more videos about other deals that some of our other investors and other students have actually done. This is Richard Shepherd. Happy hunting.